The Amazon, the world's largest tropical rainforest, faces an unprecedented and imminent threat. Recent studies indicate that a loss of between 3% and 8% of its vegetative cover could lead it to an irreversible tipping point, transforming it into a savanna. This phenomenon, which could reach a critical stage by 2050, has already begun, with threats of negative repercussions in various parts of the world. Can this scenario still be reversed? Scientists warn of the consequences of this degrading process for life on the planet. Earth Echoes delves now into this dense and wild landscape to expose the clearing of this relentless devastation, which may lead to a point of no return. Savannization is an artificial phenomenon that occurs when there is significant degradation of the natural vegetation of a biome. Unrestrained exploitation resulting from human activities ultimately results in the loss of the soil's ability to regenerate. Specifically in the Amazon, this process is marked by the replacement of the dense and humid tropical forest with typical savanna vegetation. In place of the closed forest landscape, a scenario of sparse trees and dry, low vegetation gradually emerges. Savannization in the Amazon region is mainly driven by deforestation and wildfires, aimed at expanding agricultural and livestock frontiers. This process not only transforms the scenario, affecting terrestrial animals, but also alters the entire hydrological cycle of the Amazon basin. The low humidity generated by the forest directly affects rainfall production, increasing temperatures in the region and intensifying global warming. Faced with this alarming perspective, the scientific community cautions that the continuation of the process could lead the Amazon to the concerning tipping point. The warning was featured on the cover of the renowned journal Nature in February, in a study led by Brazilian scientists. The research estimates that, in the next 25 years, from 10% to 47% of the Amazon will be so impacted that the forest will reach the tipping point. The concept of tipping point has been widely discussed in the scientific community as one of the most urgent issues in climate change research. This barrier is crossed when the forest loses its ability to self-regenerate and collapses, transforming into a completely different biome. Once crossed, this critical point would trigger a series of cascading effects, not only for the region but also in various places on the planet. The savannization of the Amazon would entail a series of significant changes in various aspects of life on Earth. Firstly, the loss of Amazonian forest cover would threaten the planet's known rich biodiversity. Approximately 20% of all fauna is concentrated in the Amazon, putting thousands of plant and animal species inhabiting the region at risk. Within a few years, the rate of species extinct due to forest loss could equal or even surpass the rate of newly discovered species each year. Moreover, savannization would have direct implications for local communities, which rely directly on the forest for their subsistence and culture. More than 25 million people live in the legal Amazon, and the change would profoundly impact the way of life of these communities. On a global scale, the Amazon plays a crucial role in regulating climate and humidity across the South American continent. Studies suggest that the loss of moisture associated with the forest could lead to subsequent droughts, turning large areas into true deserts. In economic terms, savannization would represent a significant cost, estimated at $3.6 trillion, without considering adaptation measures. Research suggests that, at the current rate of deforestation, up to 23% of the Amazon forest could be destroyed by 2030. Other researchers are even more pessimistic, indicating that we have already lost 20% of this magnificent jungle. In Brazil, deforestation accounts for over 40% of gross greenhouse gas emissions. Scientists note that, on the southern side of the forest, rising temperatures have reduced rainfall seasonality, thus prolonging the dry season. The dangerous consequences for sustainable life reinforce the urgency of immediate actions to preserve this great and important natural heritage. Researchers outline concrete measures to prevent the alarming scenario, which could be crossed by 2050. Scientists assert that there is still time to preserve the current forest, but the resilience of the biome depends directly on effective human actions. The first crucial measure is to halt deforestation and the degradation of vegetation cover, primarily driven by logging and wildfires. Large areas are illegally occupied for timber exploitation, natural resource extraction, and agricultural expansion. These practices not only destroy the natural habitat of the forest, but also affect the lives of millions of people, animals, and the climate of the entire continent. Simultaneously, scientists consider it essential to expand reforestation initiatives in the main deforested areas. An article from 2018 estimates that investments in the recovery of the Amazon would have a modest cost, estimated at $122 billion. Conservation measures should involve both Amazonian countries and the international community. While countries hosting the forest bear direct responsibility for the biome, foreign nations can support the cause through investments and projects. In addition to local actions, scientists emphasize the importance of a global effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Global warming directly contributes to recent extreme heat waves worldwide. In the Amazon, high temperatures and prolonged drought can accelerate the savannahization process, even with a reduction in direct deforestation. The Amazon rainforest is the largest tropical forest in the world, covering a total area of over 7 million square kilometers. The dense and close forest cover occupies territories in 9 countries, with 60% of its area located in Brazil. Peru and smaller parts of Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana also share this incredible natural wealth. This vast expanse harbors an incredible diversity of life, with approximately 400 billion trees and 16,000 known animal species. There are more than 2.5 million insects, 3,000 species of fish, and 1 to 300 endemic birds, which can only be found in the Amazon. The biome also plays a fundamental role in the global water cycle, pumping large amounts of water into the atmosphere. This moisture travels through the so-called atmospheric rivers, supplying vast regions far beyond the forest itself. Additionally, the Amazon is home to more than 300 indigenous communities, quilombolas, and riparian peoples who cultivate traditions of profound balance with nature. These groups possess the knowledge to manage natural resources sustainably, as well as a vast pharmacological encyclopedia of medicinal plants. About 25% of modern medicines are derived from Amazonian plants, underscoring the forest's importance to humanity's own life. In recent years, deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon has escalated to alarming levels, with 2020 recording the highest deforestation rate in over a decade. The magnitude and immediacy of the environmental issues faced in the Amazon cannot be underestimated. The region, vital for global climate stability and the planet's biodiversity, stands at a critical crossroads. The decisions and actions taken in the coming years will determine whether the Amazon will persist as a source of life or succumb to savannahization. Projections indicate that, without significant change, the future holds the irreparable and irreversible loss of one of the world's greatest natural treasures. The responsibility for environmental preservation is collective and depends directly on a change in behavior and awareness worldwide. The big question is whether humanity is ready to alter its self-destructive course and prioritize the path of harmonious coexistence with nature. What will life be like in 2050? Earth Echoes resonates this urgent call from nature. If you care about the future of the Amazon, leave your comment. Don't forget to like and share the content to spread this seed. See you next.